All right. Good evening, everybody. It's the educator and me. I've been playing around all day with all kinds of cool stuff, and I thought it'd be fun to, we always talk about history on this channel, baseball history, and things like that. And I'm always exhorting everybody, join Saber. Saber's great. What a great way to do baseball research. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? So, Aaron, this might interest you as well because there's a way that you can make this talk, but I don't have audio shared on this tonight. So I'm going to just talk about what this is. So this is Google Gemini. Hey, happy Tuesday, Samuel. Samuel, I was hoping you'd come in. I think that you would enjoy this as well. So this is Google Gemini. And of course, I had to sign up for the pro version. This thing is powerful. So I want to show you the end result of something that has nothing to do with baseball. But I've been kind of hooked on this cool series on HBO called The Gilded Age. It's one of the times in history that really fascinates me. So from about 1870 to roughly 1900 was the Gilded Age. So I'm going to bring up something that this was kind of like an end result here. So let me show you this. This is pretty cool, pretty amazing. All right. So what you can do, and I'm going to take you through the steps because I'm going to do something with baseball, is I wanted to create something, just to see how well deep research does. So basically what Gemini is an AI assistant. Now, a lot of people are, and there's nothing wrong with it using AI for, generating images, generating video, generating music. And you know what, as an artist and as a musician, I'm happy that these things exist. I think that they're great jumping off points for good ideas. I think it's also maybe for people who aren't musicians, who aren't artists or whatever, this is a chance for them to express their ideas as well. And I think it's fun, but it's also informative. And, I'm a person who will go on the Internet Archive and just read, the New York Times from 1917 and things like that. Or, going through Life and Time magazine, reading those things. So, but what this is really, really, really cool. So I started out, didn't realize just all the features, still lots of things to learn here, certainly. But I just wanted it to do some research on the Gilded Age. Yep. Was created by the Downton Abbey producer. Yep. No, it does not actually. The Gilded Age takes place in the 1880s. Downton Abbey begins in 1912. So the Gilded Age is in the 1880s in New York, specifically around 1882 or 1883 is where it's set. And it's Julian Fellows. Now, I know there's 2 seasons. I don't know if there's going to be any more. I don't remember, but I really like it. It's a very, very, very lavish production, and I love period pieces. I am all about period pieces because I'm a history geek, and it's really fun. So far, some of the sort of historical figures that you meet from that time: Clara Barton, of course, founder of the Red Cross. Thomas Edison. Too bad that Nikola Tesla didn't make an appearance in that episode. So pretty cool stuff. Names are dropped like the Astors and the Vanderbilts and things like that. And I also like how it reflects, because too often, people think of just the old Confederacy as being racist. The North was racist as well. And I mean, while it's not portrayed, at least, I'm only in the 2nd episode of season 2 or something, but the way that the racism of the time is represented, it's done subtly, but really, really well. But anyhow, so it did this wonderful, wonderful long thing, and right, this whole big in-depth talking about this period in history, and I wanted to specifically focus on New York City during the Gilded Age. And then it said, oh, well, you can create all these other things. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. And so I thought it'd be really, really fun to show you guys around how to do this, but maybe doing it with baseball, but how it breaks things down to the nice little infographics, stuff like that. Certain terms here talks about robber barons. If I click more, we can learn just a little bit more about them. Just so cool, so interactive. And I know there's a lot more that can be done here. Of course, here's some of the big names from the time. And interestingly enough, you know, Julian Fellows, of course, doing his research, just as he did, you know, for Downton Abbey, you know, which, of course, the first episode begins that with the sinking of the Titanic. It gets into World War I, brutally so, as it should. All kinds of things. And so, you know, two of my favorite periods in history, you know. But this is, I've learned so much from this. So we're not going to go through this, obviously. But it's just something to keep in mind if you want to do so, you know, a little bit of research, maybe for some of your baseball projects. So let's go into this. All right. And we're going to ask Gemini, and we're going to use a little bit of deep research here. Okay. I want to learn about the, let's say, I'm just making this up as I go along, the formation and changes in baseball from let's say 1830 to 1892. All right, let's see what it does, because again, I'm not trying, I'm just going along to see what this will do, because this is really, really fun. So I've just given it a basic prompt. Now, of course, we can go to Canvas, and you can create apps in here and docs. You can generate videos with VEO3, but that's not what we're here tonight. Todd B in here welcomes AI, says he's used AI to generate rosters for custom teams. Yeah, there's so much that you can do with it. I mean, you know, again, you know, it's, I think it's, you know, everything's going AI and you know, but there's still, you still need that human interaction. And I think that's what's cool about it. Let's see what this thing can cook up here. All right. And just how it works. So this is using deep research. So, you know, I can just imagine now if I would have decided now to go back into my, go back and do my PhD, how much time this would have saved. Okay, so basically the first thing that we'll do is it's gonna give you the steps of what it's gonna do. All right. So it's going to research the folk games and early forms of bat and ball games played in the United States prior to and around 1830 that are considered precursors to modern baseball. That is to say, or for example, town ball, rounders, cricket. Investigate the codification of early baseball rules, focusing on the contributions of clubs like the New York Knickerbockers in the 1840s and the key rules they established. So it's giving me all these steps of what it's going to do. And how it's going to do, it's going to go through these steps, analyze results, create a report, be ready in a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead. We can edit this plan if we want to. We can do this, and we can even try again without doing deep research. But let's do deep research. So it's starting, and it's going to crunch, and it's going to work. And it's pretty fast. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? So Todd already saying that he's used it to generate baseball rosters. I know that Bernie has used some AI as far as having it analyze box scores and creating a story from it. Of course, we know that Out of the Park Baseball uses AI recounts and does it very, very, very well. Not just the post-game recounts, but if you're doing a season replay or any sort of replay, if you go to the league newspaper, it's going to generate stories of not only games that were played, but also things that would have happened, that could have happened, let's say. I remember a funny example of wrote a neat story, very immersive story of a cat running onto a field in I think it was a Miami Marlins game or something like that. So here we can see it's showing you what just some of the websites that it's going to be going through. So, which is very, very cool. Of course, calling on Wikipedia, but also a site called protoball.org, guides, Library of Congress.gov, so the Library of Congress. So now it's telling me that it's going into the origins of baseball, takes you through the steps, and again the codification we talked about, and so it's going to the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's going to all these sites, Case University, so Case Western Reserve, actually in Cleveland. Just this is so incredible, and I'm such a geek. 19thcenturybaseball.com. So what, it's a lot of collating, but then it does more. This does more. So, I remember when Wikipedia first came out, right? And of course, Key AI is using the right prompts. It really, really is. The more detailed your prompt, the better results you're going to get, whether you're doing something like this. Now, the only thing I've not messed with is generative music. And I will tell you something curious. Since we are talking about baseball specifically in this, is one thing, a type of image that AI is lousy at doing. And I've tried, and I'm paying for quite a few of these for some projects that I'm doing too. It is not good at creating baseball fields. It can create the most just amazing, lifelike, realistic, or fantasy, or Pixar, whatever. But it's just not very good doing baseball parks. The problem is the infield. It can't seem to get the infield right. And the other thing it can't do, but that's because magic is pretty secretive. You're not going to learn a lot about deeper professional magic methods and stuff like that. But that more has to do with the control we have in the magic community. That said, you can go on YouTube and learn all that kinds of stuff. But anyhow, right, so Wikipedia comes along, really kind of Wild West thing. And for a while, the articles, weren't vetted in any way, if you will, right? So wiki literally means what I know is, right? So it's a kind of little acronym. And then there was some misinformation on Wikipedia, some stubs and all that, which stubs came about because of this. And it had to do with some conspiracy theory of Pierre Salinger and Robert F. Kennedy Sr., which of course turned out to be, unfounded. My God, look at the websites this thing is going to. It's even going to Sabre. So now Wikipedia, in fact, at that time, I remember too, being when I was in graduate school, professors, and rightly so, were saying, if anybody uses Wikipedia as a source, you'll get an automatic F on your paper. These days now, in academics, it is welcomed, provided there's good sourcing on it and things like that. But Wikipedia was an amazing thing, picking up some quick facts and stuff like that. But it was basically, and there's nothing wrong with it, it was basically just a deep web search. But now imagine, all right, for any project, so, thinking creatively of something you might want to do, like Todd's doing, right? So and I don't want to give too much away about his project. That's up to him to talk about it, because I don't want to spoil anything. But I do know that he's creating a very, very interesting type of baseball league, and using AI as a helper to create something. So, but let's imagine for Todd for a moment that he would want to research this. So to doing this deep research that this is doing, could you imagine going through all these sites, kind of reading them, pulling out what you would want? And again, this isn't for a PhD dissertation. This is for a baseball project, right? And you're trying to learn something. And you have all this amazing stuff. So again, I don't know how many people would actually go to this kind of, go to these lengths to learn about things. I'm insatiably curious. I believe that any day that goes by that I haven't learned something is a wasted day. And so I'm excited. I'm on staycation next week. So really, really looking forward to just doing lots of fun stuff like this, doing lots of baseball and things like that. Hey, there's Bernie. So Bernie, this would be a great subject for another Diamonds and Dice podcast after our next one, is using AI. So I'm kind of getting us started here. Using AI as an adjunct to creating interesting projects, or to even just learn about baseball. Good God. All right. This thing is still going. It's researching 113 websites. Again, so what we're looking for is the evolution of baseball from around 1830 to 1892. So the season before what's considered modern baseball. And I already showed Bernie earlier that I had to create something on the Gilded Age in America, specifically as it pertains to New York City. So yeah, Bernie uses AI all the time with his projects. And you know, guys, I think this is not just for, again, this is for any sort of project, but maybe even think beyond gaming, right? So if you think about how this could enrich your knowledge of baseball, right? So I picked the 19th century and the formation, but imagine what you could do. This could do deep research into like just the most out there baseball ephemera that you could possibly imagine. So now it's going through, and again, I love the fact that it takes you through each step. You'll see up here that the create button is grayed out or faded out right now. I can't do anything yet because it's doing this research. And I love the fact that, I mean, you know, I'm not going to read all this to you guys, but it's fascinating to look at the thought process, quote unquote, thought process that's going on here. So it's sort of talking about here what's going to be touching on the economic, researching economic and social dynamics, professionalization, rule standardization, evolution, right? It's going to go through those. Then it tells you about its next research steps. I mean, this is just fascinating. Hey, there's Paul. How you doing? I wish I could ask Gemini when the update for Pocket Pennant Run's coming out. I haven't spoiled anything, Paul. I just told the guys that I got a glimpse of the new update, and it's gonna be super cool, and that's all I've said. But waiting. Are you in the United States right now, Paul, or are you still over in Cyprus? Yep. So you're a big fan of Gemini Pro. This is incredible. And actually, I discovered Gemini Pro through another Google app called Whisk, which is really mind-blowing. Let's go over here and let's see. Well, that update will be before play.com. Okay, cool. Thank you, Paul. And it's great to see you. I know I haven't seen you in a while. Usually been missing a lot of these. So Todd says, he gave instructions on a certain baseball game and gave it all the details on the card itself, and it generated card based on the stats I gave it. That is super cool. So Paul, what kinds of things do you use Gemini or sort of anything like that? It's mind-blowing what stability now 99%. I am not surprised, man. You guys are a dangerous team, man, and I'm loving it. And I'm just like, oh God, the guys are going to love the next update. And again, might as well talk about some stuff here, other stuff while this is doing its thing. It's doing some serious heavy lifting here. But what, 6, 7 more people? I mean, people are just joining the Pocket Pennant Run community all the time. And Craig and Matt and you, Paul, you guys have to be favorite. So Paul says that it's his favorite for creating fictional logos and biographies. That's super cool. That people are very paranoid. I think about AI, you know, will it become sentient? Well, hey, you know what? Probably not in my lifetime, but if it does, then guess what? Warhammer 40K, then we'll be on that timeline, whatever. But I think that, you know, we find this very fascinating, and it is. But what I'm also thinking at this point, so Paul says he was banned by one game creator this morning within 5 minutes of working. He said his game was of waking. I said his game was too expensive. Is it the guy? Is this the guy that I'm trying to get on here to talk to? Is that, you don't have to say his name? Is that, or is this somebody else? I'm just curious. But hey, Paul's from Liverpool, man. He's gonna tell you like it is, and I love that. I love that. What Todd asked if it was Hal Richmond. Okay, so it is the person we're. Okay, wow. Well, it is. I know that he. I don't know. I think he's subscribed to this channel, and he is welcome. It will not. I promise. It's not going to be a hostile thing. I would like to really. I think that. Let me make this full screen here. I just realized my stupid picture's up there. There we go. I think it would be wonderful for him to talk about the project. So wow, this thing's going crazy, but I love it. He said you were lecturing him. Well, I mean, I would think he wants to make some money. So while this is doing this, there's another baseball game where I almost took this one hook, line, and sinker. I don't remember the name of the game, but you buy it. Okay, I can do that. I'll do that right now, Bernie. I will do that right now. So Bernie's asking me to check my instant messages for something that he just did. So I will do that. So expect a lot of baseball next week, guys, as I am on staycation. So let me see. Kind of funny stuff. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow, super cool. I can't show the screen, obviously, but damn, Bernie. He says, here's a seeded 18 baseball tournament featuring what I consider the best dead ball era Major League Baseball teams, seeded based on dominance relative to the league overall talent postseason. So the 1906 Cubbies talks about the key players. There's the 1912 Boston Red Sox, the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates. The 1902 Pirates, I think, would have also been a very, very good choice too. But the 1909 Pirates, of course, world champions, their first world championship. The 1910 A's, awesome stuff. The 1917 White Sox, I'm glad that the AI recognized that better team than the 1919 squad. The 1911 New York Giants, interesting. I would say 1905. Oh, there we go. The 1905 Giants are in there. Okay. This is great, Bernie. It seeded the tournament for him. So the quarterfinals is going to be the 1906 Cubs versus the 1914 Miracle Braves. Then you got the let me see. The 1910 Athletics versus the 1917 White Sox. That'd be a great matchup there. The 1909 Bucks versus the 1911 Giants, and the 1912 Red Sox, the number 2 seed Red Sox versus the number 719. My God, I'm letting you know right now, Bernie. I want to know everything about it, how it goes, right? The simulated outcome player stats for game by game matchups. It'd be fun if you would even set up a tournament in out of the park baseball, do some tweaking and stuff like that, man. I think that would be super, super, super cool. So Paul talking about, I'm not going to say the person's name or anything, but he was blocked. Shit happens, man. I think the guy should listen if he definitely wants to sell his game. But bada boom, bada bing. Bernie, what anything and everything, my friend. Bernie's messaging me while we're talking. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop out of Facebook here. But that is super cool. Let me see. It's the way to make your projects easier. No, of course not. And I think you really got to fact check. You do have to fact check, but that's anything. You go to any sort of website that's dealing with things that are factual. But I talked about my insatiable curiosity. One of my favorite websites out there, 2 of them actually. One deals with fantasy, and one deals with science fiction. So the fantasy one, which I think is my favorite website, like outside of Baseball Reference and Baseball Almanac, is the Encyclopedia of Arda. And so if you're a Tolkien geek at all, the Encyclopedia of Arda is the be all end all. It's this incredible wow. This isn't a Tolkien channel, or I would show you guys that, but just Google Encyclopedia of Arda if you love Tolkien and his work, his legendarium. The other one is Ex Astris Scientia, and it's devoted to Star Trek. So it's comparable in scope to the Encyclopedia of Arda. So crazy stuff. VL123 used AI to help you in Legends of Boxing. Cool. The Cubs and Bears welcome in. He says the 1904 teams were very strong because no World Series. They were often ignored. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Paul is a Tolkien fan. Awesome. All right. So Paul telling Todd, the creator said he spent $3,000 developing the game and he needs to recoup it, but you're not going to recoup. Look, I mean, hey, I'll put it this way. I admire the guy for, trying to market a game out there. I mean, good on him. But if you guys dig back, we talked about this game. Justifying the cost of that, and especially the way it looks, the fact that you cannot buy a complete season with the game, it'd be great for him to not only recoup his losses but realize a profit. But my thing, again, I'm not tangenting, guys. This is just doing some serious deep research. It's going to be worth it. But the fact that you can't buy a season with this game even yet, right? And what do most people who play baseball sims, what do? They do season replays. They want seasons. And the 1912 Red Sox are the winners. All right, rigged. Pardon me. Sleep well, VL123. Thanks for coming in, man. One season available. 2024. I don't think you're going to, again, I don't think you're going to attract, you're not going to attract me. I don't think you're going to attract a lot of people in here. I don't know too many people that are interested in, wow, I'm just burning to replay the 2024 season. Now, if he was offering 1974, I think people would say, yeah, cool. 1977, 78, 86. Let's stick with just, this more modern baseball, right? At least the people in this family in here, I think all of us here are just fed up with all the crazy rule changes in baseball. And most of us know more teams on 1992 squads than we do in 2025 squads. So I don't know. But so Todd, I wonder if that's the one I'm talking about. So Digital Diamond seems the best game if you want all the seasons. Hate the UI, not moddable anyway. So I think best is a subjective term, my friend. I think it's a very, why am I getting GERD by you, Paul? What the hell? What is it with you now? Paul's like gurring at me, man. Okay. Reached a comprehensive understanding of the topic and now ready to synthesize all the gathering information into a detailed report. Cool. I know you love the time clock, but do you love the elimination of the shift and the limited pickoff throws to first? I went to see a minor league game last year, and I was like, okay, the time clock is kind of cool, kind of all right, but there's some other shit. The ghost runner on. But if you're a fan, you're a fan. It's cool. You can go at me all you want, you scouser. So I want to get back to VL123's comment here about Digital Diamond Baseball. He says, seems to be the best game if you want all the teams. Hate the UI, not moddable. The UI is a bit of a meh. Ghost Runner, no. God bless you, Paul. There you go. You're already in purgatory when you're in this family, pal. So it's subjective, I think. There are things that Digital Diamond does really well, and there are some things that it could do better. There's no perfect baseball game out there. To me, as long as you're willing to get in there and get your hands dirty, out of the park baseball eclipses it for a lot of reasons. That doesn't mean the Digital Diamond sucks. I have been playing Digital Diamond baseball since version 3. I don't do it on my channel largely because, you know, it's Dwayne Martz just does a fantastic job with it, and also for the things that I want to do, games like Out of the Park baseball, and do it better. In fact, Out of the Park baseball and Pure Sim is the other one, because they can do career type play. So Digital Diamond baseball seasons, Action PC seasons, Diamond Mine baseball seasons, and they're great games, and I have them all. But I like the fact that Out of the Park and Pure Sim will do career play, and Out of the Park with its player development, things like that. But Digital Diamond, give it some love. Let's face it. While I'm disappointed that it was a little bit, the integration of Status Pro wasn't what I expected. I still think it's great. You're getting 2 baseball engines for what, $29 or something like that. It's great. Glad you did, Paul. It's a great. Digital Diamond, well, so I think if you're doing it the way Dwayne Martz does it, I think it's excellent for streaming. And that way I get very engrossed in that. But it's and you know what? You can customize the play-by-play in that game. So you can always read that play-by-play if you want. I think there's lots and lots of good things about it. But again, it's subjective. But just Out of the Park, just keep coming back to it as far as now. Will Pocket Pen? I'm gonna well, as Craig has said, Paul has a dangerous mind. Paul, hope you don't mind my sharing that. Good God! All right, so here we go, guys. This is what it's come out with, and it's right now. This is a TLDR, right? Pretty amazing, and it would be fun to actually copy and paste this whole thing, right? But we're gonna take this to the next step, take it to the next level. But look at this. Imagine this is almost the length of maybe like a master's thesis. It's not dissertation, but this is pretty cool. All right, so now what we can do at this point is we can go to create, and we can have it do a web page, infographic, a quiz. We can do an audio overview. So, oh yeah, Dwayne's commentary makes his streams. Yeah, exactly. Dwayne, and again, Mark Cohen, who's never been here. I would be really chuffed if he would come in sometime. You've got a great game, Mark. A great game, and it's come a long way. I've done a couple roster sets. They're on your website. If you guys look, you can see a couple roster sets I created, and they're up there. I love Digital Diamond baseball, but I really got to watch more Dwayne Martz tutorial videos because the UI drives me nuts. The same way it drove other people crazy. When Out of the Park, right? I've shown you guys Out of the Park 8. You guys remember it. 7, 6, 5. Byzantine interface, to say the least. So what I did was an infographic thing. We're going to do a web page this time. So it's going to make a web page out of all of this stuff. So this will be fun. Feel free to ask me follow-up questions. And just it's going to do what it does here. So again, it'll keep your old chats. You guys know that. All right. Now, is this actually okay? Feel free to ask for follow-up questions. Well, let me give it a thumbs up here because it likes love. Let's do this instead then. I guess it didn't feel like doing a web page, so let's do this infographic thing. There we go. Okay. Either that or I've pissed it off. Let me see. Let's go down to the bottom here and see if anything's happening here. Sources read but not used in the report. So it even vets, which is really, really, really cool. So yeah, I might be just hitting a thing where, let me try this one more time. See if I can, I want it to be a quiz. Oh, I know what, geez, what am I doing here? Okay, so anyhow, you guys get the idea because I showed you the thing, the infographic. Right now, I don't know if I'm just hitting server load or what's going on here, but just imagine, right? Even just going through this wallow text, you know, and if you wanted to organize it or whatever into a web page, boom, you know, it's just incredible. And I just wanted to sort of maybe do this as kind of a way to jog people's imaginations and what you can do. So wish someone would do a custom play-by-play file for Digital Diamond. You can. In fact, I think there are. Oh, you're welcome, Dwayne. It's all true, man. You know, ask for the genesis of Beetle's brain. Well, that would be found in a FIFTA Tulamordu. Can I generate any more? So again, I'm working on another channel. You can ask Ken Castro about some of the actors that are going to be in this new channel. That's all I can kind of say at this point. So, well, actually, so the thing is, that's an interesting question. So, there are some AI platforms that you can say, oh, create this resembling so-and-so, and some AI platforms that don't. So you have to kind of find workarounds if you want to do stuff like that. This is really bizarre why this is sort of fighting with me right now, but I think I'm just forgetting something. I just keep getting something went wrong, so it's just a problem on their end. But again, because I was able to show you guys, you know, that page that it created. Now bring it up one more time on the Gilded Age. When something doesn't go wrong, it's gonna create cool things like this. So this was a wallow text too, and it organizes it so nicely, so very, very nicely. So for the TLDR and making things pretty. So of course, obviously, there's other applications for this as well. But that's pretty much it. This is just another way, and for Paul, or for, and I'm not sharing sound, unfortunately. But let me see if this thing's going to lose its shit. Audio overview. I might have to stop the share, and let's see. Audio overview is being generated. So hang on. I'm going to stop the share and bring it back on so I can share sound, okay? Hang on, guys. I mean, I'm right here, but, you know, I get all crazy. So stop screen, and then let's present again so that this time, because I'm curious. I've never heard this do an audio overview. So this should be fun. All right, now let us do its thing, huh? You were asking for me. Ah, okay, I see. Yeah, well, no, I mean, again, if Cousin Kent was in here, he seems to be approving of what I'm creating. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Trying to keep the, you know, because I'm kind of getting into that rut. I'm like doing, you know, working at FedEx, which, I mean, I like the job and everything, but I'm not meant to be doing that stuff. Anyhow, it's really cool that a lot of you are using artificial intelligence as adjuncts to projects, as adjuncts to learning, things like that. You know, imagine too, like you could you could ask Gemini, I could ask Gemini to create images if I wanted to, that would accompany some of this. So just really nice. And just looking here, I mean, there's just some stuff I didn't know. So it's actually going back before 1830. I had said, well, from 1830 on, but it's talking about going back to William Clark's The Boy's Own Book, talking about rounders. Was subsequently published. This book was published in Boston, 1829. So just brilliant. And I mean, again, you do got to fact check, but you know, again, just the sites that it used, the sites that it didn't use, and you can go to any of these sites. So what else is fun? God, you could like click on any of these websites. You can actually go to the website that's searching. So this one's 19thcenturybaseball.com. I mean, man, I love this stuff, you know. I'm not a neo-Luddite. I would say this, though, just as a cautionary tale. French sociologist Jacques Ellul, back in the 1950s, wrote a book called The Technological Society. And I did part of an honors project with that and presented a paper at Villanova University when I was still an undergrad. And it was a sort of drawing upon Martin Heidegger's essay on technology and Jacques Ellul's book, The Technological Society. And the thing about that I always do kind of, I want to remember, though, that Jacques Ellul talked about is he talked about that first, the technology in and of itself has no morality, and it doesn't. Now, you know, again, if we discuss down the line, you know, can it become sentient, which has been fodder for so much great science fiction, you know, from gaming stuff like Warhammer 40K to, you know, Arthur C. Clarke, Ray Bradbury, what have you. You know, even sort of middle of the road like Star Trek. Some people, you know, wouldn't consider that a hard sci-fi. I think it's leans more closer to hard sci-fi than Star Wars, which is fantasy, really. But he also said that it could become a totalitarianism in which we will accept. He says the new totalitarianism won't need jackboots. So, of course, referring to Germany in the 1930s. And so I think that rather than fearing, you know, artificial intelligence, I mean, come on, you know, it's fire up baseball for Windows. Any of you that have it, it's already there. The managers there are again, the Miller brothers. In fact, they have something coming up in June. I've got to work that night. Damn it. They're going to be having a Zoom meeting with the Miller brothers who created baseball for Windows. But machines are as moral as their creators, or were, until they became sentient. Exactly. It's true. So, but it's the idea. So like Ellul talks about, you know, we dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He said that no matter what, I mean, there's, you know, evidence that the Japanese wanted to surrender conditionally, and Truman said, nope, unconditional, or ba-boom, ba-bing. But Ellul's contention was, with technology, if we have it, we'll use it. And we used it. And I'm not getting into a political debate about it. It's just a historical fact. We used 2 atomic bombs. We're the only nation to ever use nukes. But that being said, I think that rather than being afraid of artificial intelligence, I think the smart thing is what Paul's talking about. Check it. Things like that. Monitor it. Understand that it is something that we can use to better ourselves. But again, Todd B says earlier, I mean, you get the best use out of this. You know, the better the prompts. And it's incredible. I've seen it just in the past year. When you talk about just like image generation, which is when, you know, everything really blew up with programs like Midjourney, right? Midjourney just blew up, man. Now everybody was being Banksy and everybody was being, or had a chance to be Rembrandt or whatever. Then you saw the advent of generative music, and I listened to some, and I'm like, holy hell, this could have been written by Dvorak, or this could have been maybe an unpublished or unplayed Rachmaninoff piece. And so, of course, a lot of artists are losing their shit. I'm one of those artists that isn't. I love it. I love that this is around. I love that it's democratizing art. And it's fascinating to look at the things that people are creating, whether it's music, images, videos, or whatever, that maybe they weren't blessed with the talent of. We all have imaginations, but maybe they don't have that talent for drawing, or for playing an instrument, or for singing, or whatever. But if it's putting more art out in the world, if it's allowing, right, more people to learn about things, isn't that a good thing? You can have Gemini on your phone, right? So you get your kids, or if you got grandkids coming up, hey, what's this mean? Well, kid, there you go. You've got, I mean, right back in the 1940s, 1950s, or 1950s, right? UNIVAC. Holy shit. It needed an entire room. And you know what? The Apollo missions didn't even have the processing power of Commodore 64s. What do we have now? But here's the exciting thing about it. Google up a picture from 1925, right? And when you look at a picture from 1925, you can say, wow, how old-fashioned or how quaint or whatever. In 2125, someone is going to be looking at pictures of 2025 and saying the same thing, except it's going faster, isn't it? I think really in 2027, this is going to all seem quaint. But right now it's amazing and it's exciting. It's exciting. Todd B asking here, is anyone, I've seen a guy on YouTube called Sports Host. Yep, used AI to generate voices of Harwell. Callison uses that creative voice to read action PC baseball text. I love it. It's really, really cool. Again, so the action happens on the field, then the play is called. But I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are able to make everything synced up. Caught a couple innings. It's really cool. It's too bad John Herson wouldn't take the cue and use AI and create another announcer, or even the Ernie Harwell announcer, if the estate would allow it. I'm not sure about the legality of, or how that works, licensing, cloning a person's voice or whatever. And having, now it could pick up in 1998 to today. Be amazing. So, yep, you can use this for horse racing analysis. Of course you can. Paul says he uses it to supplement projects, not replace them. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I could probably sit here, and I have. It's kind of fun, not on Gemini, but like just regular old Chat GPT. Notice calling it regular old Chat GPT now. There are larger language models than that anyhow. Llama and others, Grok, it's crazy. Just playing poker on there. It's fun. I mean, this is taking a while for this audio overview because we have practically written a book here. So it's really, really cool. When I came on here, I'm like, geez, I don't know, guys are going to be into this or whatever, but I definitely going to be saving this. I'm going to be geek enough that I will read this. Look, there's the Louisville Grace scandal. Oh man, yeah, Jim Devlin. So if you guys remember from the Ken Burns baseball documentary. So in here, now all the guys are named. So they really picked on Jim Devlin, of course, writing that letter that he did to Harry Wright. However, you guys remember that. So, wow, the institution, the practice of the league hiring and assigning umpires. Pretty cool that happened there. What does this say? Oh, so we got a little learn more here. And then it would take you to an encyclopedia about William Hulbert. There's the old beer and whiskey league. Good stuff. So Paul, yeah. So Paul says he's been using it daily in his horse racing trading. Been a sports trader full time 17 years, part time now. Nice. Ken's teams are fine, as Clinton's telling Paul. A nice game this morning with play. Good stuff. All good stuff. What a smart community we have here, which makes me wonder why you guys stopped by here. But there we go. But Todd, I do like what Sportsflix is doing. Very, 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 very cool. You know, anything that's going to be anything that advances the hobby, I think it will. I think it's just such a good thing. So, geez, I don't know what we can do while we're sitting here. Create Pixar doggies or something. I don't know. But hopefully this week, we're going to see an update for my computer's there for this little game. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this game yet. Here, this pocket pennant run deal here, with massive databases and all kinds of goodies coming down the line. So yeah, nice stuff. So Bernie uses it for race handicap because yeah, right. Okay, so do you take Venmo or PayPal there, Paul, for that one? Thank you, man. Clinton Park says 20 years Navy for Mr. Paul. Numbers not now curmudgeon. There's a few here have been known to earn my wrath when I defend the purity of the two groups who play the game. We certainly know you are our curmudgeon, but yeah. So no crash, guys. He said no crash in 200 games. Uses like 5 programs to generate the voices. Yeah, I've got like that. That's awesome. Not a crash in 200 games. That is amazing. But I'm amazed but not surprised, if that makes sense. So there we go, man. Just think of the amazing things. Have the AI come up with great, believable excuses so that you don't have to go to work. Things like that. So this is gonna take a while. I'm probably not gonna wait for this here on this broadcast, but once it's done, it'll be saved, and then maybe just some night we'll kind of like go through and have our own little broadcast, not by me, but by one of these voices here. But to give some love to Microsoft, there is Copilot. Copilot's pretty cool and it's free. I don't know that it does exactly this, but Copilot's pretty cool. So you guys should check out Copilot as well. Paul says his wife's nickname for him is Mudge, as in curmudgeon. So he's right there with Clinton. So good stuff. Good stuff. I'm just hoping that this can get better. It'd be so much fun to create ballparks. Just really wild looking ballparks, like for Action PC, or have it imagine what certain ballparks, like the Messer Street grounds. Given some deep research, could you create, an image of Messer Street grounds, and if it would be at least sort of believable, whatever, and put it into Action PC so that we could do an 1884 Providence Grays replay for Ken Castro. My mind spins with all these ideas because I have a very diseased mind. Yeah, Copilot's good. I'm using Copilot for a non-YouTube project, along with a really cool thing. So for the geeks out there, so Paul says he's got to go. Love hanging out with you. Physio waits. Take care. All right. Take care, brother. Be well. Look for you here soon again. Yeah. So working on another project that has nothing to do with YouTube, baseball, or the other stuff I'm doing. And I'm using Copilot in conjunction with a series of things, one called the Story Engine, one called the Lore Masters Engine, and the other one called World Builder. and it's this massive collection of cards that allow you, they're prompts for writers, for people who create, who are DMs and RPGs, or also for educators. And what an amazing resource. It's the cure to writer's block. It doesn't write the story for you or anything like that, but these are really, really cool, what they can do. And of course, I had to go all in and get all the expansions for it and everything, but I'm absolutely blown away by what it can do. So, but that project I'm kind of keeping under wraps for now. And it's not going to be anything you're going to be able to see. Might be able to something you can listen to someday if I get lucky. Yeah, you're not a mudge. So I've never tried Hicks AI. I have no idea what that is, Todd. There's so many AI programs out there. There's one called Abacus that you guys should check out. And it's $10 a month, and it's crazy powerful. Crazy powerful. So I'm not going to show it, but I will type it into chat. So, Abacus AI. You guys should definitely check that out. Absolutely just blown away with it. So, all right, guys. Well, this thing is probably going to be generating for quite a while. So, and I'm running out of things to talk about. So, I will check out Hicks AI just to see. Actually, let me look at it over here first, because YouTube's weird. Oh, there's Hicks AI. Get personalized. Okay, so yeah, so this is very, very, very much. Okay, yeah, try for free. So this is like Abacus. So looks pretty cool. So this uses what? It's got Claude DeepSeek, 2 versions, Claude Sonnet, OpenAI. Yeah, so Grok 2, bunch of GPTs in here. Claude Opus, Gemini is in here. You can use Claude for free, and then of course there's pricing if you want to actually get the. I don't know if this is what this pricing is as opposed to Abacus EA, but this is very, very, very similar. So thank you for the tip, Todd. Appreciate it. Legend Sports Universe. There he is. How you doing, Legends? Legends in the we're coming up to the big. I mean, we're doing the pennant, people getting eliminated and things like that. Legend Sports Universe. Saw you did some basketball last night. So again, hope that's going well. Just finishing up here, having a little bit of fun with Gemini. I love this thing. So we're in the preview version. So I'm just looking over here. So of course you can do whatever you want. So but there you go. So again, I don't know whether this will, so many guys are talking about what they're using AI for in conjunction with their projects, for learning, for whatever. Yes, and did the final day of the season baseball as well. Busy man there, from the from the court to the diamond. There's no stopping you. There's no stopping you. There's no stopping Dwayne Martz. So it's good to see you, man. So hopefully I'll hit you up in Discord here at some point, and see what your plans look like for Saturday, 14th June. Even if you can just come on for a little bit, it's gonna be on Bernie's channel. Our Diamonds and Dice. It'd be great to talk to you. Even it's just I know you're busy, got to get the newspaper to bed and stuff like that. But just wanted to shoot that little reminder out there. So guys, again, as always, check out Legend Sports Universe and the Franchise Stars Baseball League, and of course, the basketball, boxing and football and everything else that he does there. Always makes it a lot of fun. Very, very attentive to the chat. And even though he's doing a premiere, he's there typing to us and stuff. Really, really cool. I don't know what the Franchise Stars Baseball League is doing, but I'm assuming they're moving right along, probably in season 12 by now, I guess. So thank you to probably be able to get on late, but probably, yeah, well, it's not going to start until 10 a.m. anyhow, or 10 p.m., whatever. Bernie tries to keep me at an hour, but if it looks like you can't get on till later, we'll just extend it. We'll see. I'll bribe Bernie with something or other. I don't know what. Try to figure out. Bernie, I think, is above reproach, though. So he's incorruptible, which is the only person I know that is. No, I'm just kidding. All you guys are paragons of virtue, and I am just absolutely besotted to be amongst your august presences. Isn't that a load of shit? All right. Anyhow, thank you to Legend Sports Universe for coming in. Todd B, thank you for really your great contributions here tonight. And Paul, who went off to physio, thanks, buddy. So you don't want to bore people. Bernie, you can't be boring. You're Bernie. So that's impossible, my friend. So to our resident professor, Clinton Parks, thank you, bud, for coming in. And I wish you'd get streaming again. Bernie Strom, thank you, my man. Partner in crime, starting again in 14 June. That's a Saturday night, gents, on Bernie's channel. Diamonds and Dice. Why do you play one medium versus another in baseball? VL123 was here. Thank you, VL. He crashed out early. The Cubs, the Bears was here. Always a pleasure to have him on. It's a rare treat when he's on here. And did I say Todd B? I'll say Todd B again because he deserves 38 mentions. Samuel Smith, great guy. And Aaron Reed. Aaron Reed, first one in the ballpark. And Samuel was in here like 10 seconds after. All right. When we talk baseball, boredom isn't possible. Exactly. All right, guys. Until next time, see you around the batting cage. This computer probably going to be running all night. I'm asking it to do the impossible to create text for all of an audio overview for all this. Let you know how it works out or whatever. Or if my computer becomes sentient and just decides to just zap me. All right, be well, everybody, and we'll see you around the batting cage, artificial or otherwise. All right, good night.